In 2013, 3 years since Kettering Town FC had left Rockingham Road in Kettering, they moved to Latimer Park in Burton, Latimer. But they had a club that has been there since 1973. Today we're looking at the tragic last 5 years of Burton Park Wanderers FC, the team that housed Kettering Town. Before we talk about the Wanderers, I'd really appreciate if you'd like to subscribe. They're trying to hit 200 subscribers and we're only one away, so your subscription could really help. Before we talk about the last 5 years of Burton Park Wanderers, let's give a bit of backstory. Burton Park Wanderers were founded in 1961, but they're initially called Kettering Park Wanderers. But when they moved to Burton Latimer in 1973, subsequently the same year they moved to Latimer Park, they changed their name to Burton Park Wanderers. As Kettering Park Wanderers, they joined the United Counties League and they remained there until the name change in 1973. And after that they kept being in the United Counties League, seeing regular bottom half finishes. This was until 1987 to 1989 when they finished 4th and 2nd. This gave them their first promotion in their history, but after 2 bottom half finishes they got relegated back to Division 1. They remained there picking up mid-table finishes until 2021-22 when they got transferred to Spartan South Midland Division 1, where after a second bottom finish, a mid-table finish and a bottom of the league finish, which we'll get onto later, they saw their third relegation in their history to Northants Combination League, seeing Step 12 English football for the first time in their history. We also need to talk about the ground history. They initially played at Rockingham Road Pleasure Park, which is less than a 5-minute walk from Kettering FC's Rockingham Road. It is a basic outdoor play park that is essentially a field. It's nothing special. They moved to the Pitchley Road football pitches, which are a bit further away from Kettering Town FC during the late 60s. But finally, in 1973, they moved to a 3,000 capacity, 260-seater Latimer Park in Burton, Latimer, which is about 10-15 minutes away from Kettering, and is only 3 miles south. This ground had been majorly developed since Kettering Town moved there in 2013, as it now has 3 seater stands and 2 covered standing areas, and an entire pitch length uncovered standing. Since Kettering Town moved there, it has relegated Burton Park Wanderers to almost being the team ground sharing with Kettering, not Kettering ground sharing with Burton. I must say, it's a very well put together ground, having been there to watch Kettering versus Needham Market a season or 2 ago. It's a very well put together, decent ground, and is more than capable of housing a National League club. And for most teams in the Northants Combination League, it is an absolute privilege to go and play at Latimer Park. Our story starts in the 2021-22 season. This was the first season Burton Park Wanderers were transferred to the Spartan South Midland Division 1. This was the first time they played in a different division since 1991, and they were relegated from United Counties Premier down to Division 1. This season was a really underwhelming start to life in the SSMFL for Burton Park Wanderers, as they finished just 19th on 21 points, only 7 points at the bottom of the league at Chester United. They won 5 games all season, drew 6 and lost 27, conceding 128 goals in the league and scoring just 51. The biggest win was a 5-0 win at Latimer Park against 15th place Langford FC in front of a crowd of just 68. The biggest loss was a 9-1 away loss to Sheffield Town and Campton, but they also lost 7-0 to Stotfold and 8-3 to Northampton Silby Rangers. They did get a run out on the Upper Vars, but didn't get any further than the first qualifying round, as they lost 5-0 to Ardley United away. They also got knocked out 2-1 in the Les Underwood Cup, as they lost to fellow Northamptonshire side Morton FC. In the Gladbridge Challenge Trophy, they lost 2-1 away to Milton Keynes side and Division 2 team New Bradwell St Peter, which is embarrassing considering that's the team below, with just 68 in attendance for that game. That was the average though, with 68 to 73 being the average for most of the home games. The highest attendance was 107 on the final day when Kidlington Reserves visited Latimer Park and drew 3-3. Only 40 in attendance when the Wanderers beat Penn Green 3-2 though. That was their lowest attendance of the season, ironically for one of the 5 wins. In most other seasons, the club would have been relegated, but due to restructuring, the top 15 second bottom teams at Step 6 of the non-league pyramid were approved of relegation on a points per game basis, and obviously Burton Park Wanderers fit into that category. This is the same method they used in the incomplete COVID seasons to determine promotion and relegation. This next season, It was one of the best league finishes in the club's history. So the Wanderers climbed the table and achieved an 11th place finish. This was their highest league finish since the 2013-14 season, where they came 8th in the United Counties Division 1. They won 13 games this season, with the biggest win being 6-1 at home in front of 53 people against Wellingborough Whitworth in the Gladwish Challenge Trophy. Then they drew 7 and lost 17, with the biggest defeat coming against a team we've already covered on this channel, Northampton ON Checknecks. They beat the Wanderers 8-0 at Old Northamptonian Sports Ground. The highest attendance the season came against current Southern League high flyers Real Bedford FC, and when they came to Burton last month, 118 came out to see the Wanderers lose, just 2-1, which is very commendable considering the kind of form they were on all season. The last attendance was at a 2-2 draw against 16th place Holmer Green FC, who've also been transferred to, I think, United Counties League. Only 42 people made the trip to come and see the tantalising draw. They competed in the FA Vase for the 17th time in their 64-year history, as they were drawn at home to combined Counties League Penn and Tyler's Green FC. But unfortunately, the Wanderers couldn't make it past first qualifying round as they went on to lose just 1-0. Going back to the Gladwish Challenge Trophy, after beating Wellingborough Whitworth, they were drawn against Eton Stockholm, and they went on to lose 3-2 to the 10th place side. They also lost to Eton Stockholm 1-0 at home in the Division 1 Cup, with 68 people in attendance. This season was very solid and looked like a really good foundation to build the next few seasons off of. It's one of the highest finishes in the club's history, and going into next season, they probably even could have pushed for top half. You would never have expected what did eventually happen to happen. I imagine there was underlying factors, probably financial, maybe better players getting poached by Premier Division sides, but after a season like that, you would never imagine what would happen next to happen. After a full 38-game season that includes just 5 wins, 3 draws and 30 losses, 121 goals conceded, it's no surprise that Burton Park Wanderers fell to a disappointing 20th place finish. They were 5 points off 19th place team and former Northants Combination League side Chester United. This season was incredibly poor from the Wanderers. They lost 8-0 to Winslow and 8-0 to Ampthill within less than 2 months. The record defeat was equal 2 times in the season, which is a very poor showing. They also lost 8-3 to Langford at home the week after losing 8-0 away at Ampthill. It's very rare for a team to lose 8-0 twice in the season, let alone concede 8-3 games in a row. The loss to Winslow was in the FA Vase, and as of right now, that was their last FA Vase outing. I'm astonished that after a season like the one they had previously, that they would do this the season after. The record attendance was 118 on the first home game of the season, which was a 4-2 loss to Chester United. The lowest attendance was one of the few wins of the season, as only 36 people came out to watch the 2-1 win in the Division 1 Cup against Letchworth Garden City Eagles. In the next round, they lost 4-1 at home to Langford with a crowd of just 36. But it may have been a higher attendance had it actually been at home, as it got reversed to be played at Ford Park, the home of Langford FC, for unknown reasons. This season was incredibly disappointing for the Wanderers. It's been their lowest league position since the 2005-06 season, when they picked up just 15 points from 34 games in United Counties Division 1. After that relegation, the club resigned. Instead of dropping down to Division 2 or making a lateral move elsewhere, they went down 2 steps, all the way to the Northants Combination League. Not only is this step 12 English football, it's also the lowest position the club had ever been in. As of writing, it's January 2025, and Burton Park Wanderers currently sit 13th in the Northants Combination League out of just 15 teams, as Wollaston Victoria had resigned before the season even started. They have won 3 times this season, the biggest win coming against Spratton FC in a 4-1 home win, who Spratton currently sit in 12th. The biggest loss came against 8th place Corby Locos, who smashed Burton Latimer 8-2 at the Westclea playing fields. A little bit of trivia about Corby. Before Kettering had to share with Burton Latimer, they had to share with Corby Town FC at Steel Park for the 2012-13 season, after being kicked out of former Russian Diamonds ground Neen Park in 2011-12. The club had competed in 2 cups this season on back-to-back weekends. The first game was the Premier Division Cup first round tie away at Kettering Nomads FC. The Nomads ran out 1-0 victors, And the second fixture was a County Cup tie at home to South Spartan Midlands League Division 1 side Raunds Town FC, who proceeded to beat the Wanderers 5-0 at Latimer Park. There isn't a whole lot more to say about this season. It's been a very disappointing start to the season, but hopefully they can pick up some more results as the season rolls on. Maybe climb out of the bottom half, but that looks unlikely. But hopefully next season they can build and hopefully get back to either United Counties Division 1 or Spartan South Midland Division 1. It really is a foul task trying to predict teams that are clearly on a negative path, but I genuinely don't see anything really improving for Burton Park Wanderers. For the foreseeable future, I think they're going to remain in the Northants Combination League, picking up some half-season results here and there, but ultimately laying a bottom mid-table side, finishing no higher than maybe 9th. I do honestly hope things improve for them. I never like seeing a team fall like this, but these predictions are meant to be realistic and truthful, and to be frank, they've had a really poor start to this season, and I don't think the next 5 years have got anything really better for them. Going from 11th, 20th, 13th, it's not good. I wish them all the best for the rest of the season. I really hope to see them back in the Spartan South Midlands soon, but they need to change something. I don't know what, but something needs to give. I really hope they see promotion soon. We are going to very briefly touch on the last 2 seasons of Burton Park Wanderers reserves, who currently play in Division 2 of Northants Combination League, just 2 promotions away from the first team. In the 2023-24 season, they finished 10th out of 16 teams, picking up a very commendable 34 points, but finishing on a not so good minus 19 goal difference. They conceded the most goals that season, an 8-1 away loss to Corby Locos reserve, much like the first team. They finished in 14th that season. The biggest win came against Great Doddington at Latimer Park, as the Wanderers won 5-1. They only played 1 cup this season, the Division 2 Cup. In the first round, they beat Finnerton Volta reserves 3-1 at home, but in the next round, they got drawn away to Blisworth Development and got hammered, going on to lose 4-0. The next season, they currently remain in Division 2, but fortunes have been the same so far, with reserves currently taking the 11th spot on the table, just 12 points from a possible 36. Winning 3 games, drawing 3 and losing 6. It's not bad form for a reserve side. The biggest win was 5-3 away to Stratton Reserves. The biggest loss was 13-0 away to 4th place team Toe Valley FC. They've also played in 2 cups this season, losing in the County Cup 5-4 on penalties after holding Welford Victoria to a 3-3 draw. In the Division 2 Cup, they lost at home 3-2 to a very competitive Kettering Orchard FC side. That kind of rounds up the last 2 recorded seasons for the reserve side, so I couldn't find any other information about them. They are very similar to the first team, having been around the bottom half, picking up a win or 2 here or there, but never really putting a solid run together. The reserve side has no real expectation to really push on, and I imagine they're going to remain at bottom half of League 2 until either one of the teams in the league will improve and they get relegated, or they just have an awful season, every player leaves and they capitulate, get relegated. I wish them all the best, but I don't want them to dwell on where they are too much. But it is sad to see teams like Burton and Latimer, who have such a fall, much like the team we covered in the last video, the 61 FC. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and you can't allow yourself to relegate yourself to a position of you're just going to get relegated eventually. I guess the reserve side's still got to try and play. It's very difficult for reserve teams because they're not going to be able to really sign players, not going to be able to really do anything. They've just got to kind of wait around and see if a player goes to the first team or if the first team player drops down. But considering they are a reserve team, all the best players are going to get poached, I think they are doing very well, but still not great in comparison to Burton Park Wanderers who were in United Counties Division 1 only 4 seasons ago. But on that note, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this slightly longer, but hopefully informative video. If you enjoyed this, you'll also enjoy my previous video about the 61 FC, who just can't escape the bottom 3, much like Burton Park Wanderers. But yeah, please like, comment, share and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.